Otherwise, I have to eat it for the next month. Right. Just before that, she came regularly and cooked our meal and cleaned up the kitchen and all that, which was great for Alice and particularly good for me. Today, I'll say a few words and the two girls will speak. And then Gabriel will take this instrument here and sing you a song. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it will be nice. And I might persuade him to sing a second one if I thought you'd like to.
Of course, tips will be requested if there are requests, you know.
As you know, we had a memorial service in the college chapel a couple of days after, and I gave the eulogy, which lasted 15 minutes, unfortunately, but I had a little trouble getting through that. I thought probably by the time I got here, I wouldn't have any problem at all. Maybe I do, and if I do, please bear with me. As I say, we were both born and brought up in Brunswick, and Alice died in Thompson, which is just across the river. And the family had been there for many years. We were married in the college chapel where we had the memorial service. And the reception afterwards was in the college union, which was where we had our wedding reception and our 50th anniversary reception. So nice. It was kind of full circle. And the cemetery was about a mile away.
Not even.
Pardon?
The cemetery was a block away.
Cross
the street.
was cremated, and we had just a family service at the gravesite. Thinking about Alice and talking to you people, because you all knew her quite very well, I'd say, and she was, as you know, many things. Alice was, maybe didn't give the impression that she was really a very fine athlete. In her high school days, she was on the high school swim team and held 2 state records in freestyle. Her coach wanted her to train to the Olympics, but she got sidetracked, mostly by me, because we started going steady in 1935 when she was 16 and I was 15. It was 7 years later when we were married. She was also, as you know, a fine golfer. She had a beautiful swing. She didn't hit the ball a long way by many standards, but it was always down the middle, and it was always beautiful. And I think her lowest handicap was probably around 11 or 12, which was pretty good. And she was president of the Maine Women's Golf Association and president of the New England Women's Golf Association. As you all know, she was a fine bridge player, and a mark of that was that when we were married and she was in our hometown, and she was the tender age of 23 or 4, she was taken right into my mother's bridge club. Well, you didn't get there to screw up, I'll tell you. I think probably, and I was disappointed, anyway, she was a fine knitter. She knit many, many clothes, and I'm sure you've seen her in a lot of the clothes that she knit, and some of them, you probably realized she had made them. Pat probably is familiar with a lot of the things that she made. And she had the patience to do that. And she was also did a lot of decoupage, which it's hard to describe whatever it is, but it takes a great deal of patience and dedication to do those things, and the things all over the house that she did. Very good. What you probably don't know is she took tap dancing lessons when she was here. Didn't last long, but that was one of her ambitions, was to be a tap dancer, and she was a wonderful dancer. From the first she was a dancer when I was a klutz. So I don't know how she stood that, but I guess somebody else took her to the floor and gave her a good whirl when I was still doing this. She was, of course, through all these years, she was a wonderful mother. 2 examples I have here. My son is still in Boulder. She bore Randy, our first son, while I was in the Army. I didn't see him until he was 4 months old. Around the house, she was an immaculate housekeeper. Everything was, but not overly so. In other words, I could drop a sock here or there without getting too much stuff.
And you did.
But you don't have to tell me. But she was a fine housekeeper, and her father was originally chief engineer for a rather large paper company, later president of it. But she would jump in and do, if there was some plumbing to be done, she'd get that done, or a little electrical work to be done, or some appliances to get going. And I always used to say, you know, this appliance isn't working. The engineer's daughter, I want her over here to get this thing fixed, and she generally get it fixed. So I appreciated her being an engineer's daughter. She was a wonderful cook, and that was good news, bad news, because she was such a good cook, it was very hard to get me to take her out. Her cooking was so good, and restaurant food didn't appeal to me that much. And she was also, of course, as you all know so well, a friend to everybody. I can't think that she had an enemy in the world, and had so many, many friends. I'm going to do 2 things. One, read just a little bit, if I can get through it, and maybe I can, part of the next to the last paragraph of the eulogy I wrote. So bear with me. In 1955, while I was in northern Thailand, Alice suffered a mild brain hemorrhage, which was the beginning of her decline into dementia. She did quite well for a while, but her memory began to slip and she was often confused. She gave up skiing and golf confused her. She went from being an outstanding cook to loss of all of her cooking memory and skills. Through it all, she took care of herself perfectly and with good taste. While she knew things were different for her, she seemed not to understand what was happening. She was much at peace and was spared from worrying about what we all fear, the terminal decline into Alzheimer's disease and a long and devastating stay in some kind of a nursing facility. What has impressed me deeply as I have lived with Alice's decline has been the tragedy of the loss of all we learned in life. All of the memories of good times, all of the pride and accomplishment, and family, all the skills that we were so proud of. So life sort of ends there. And it sort of did for her, even though we go on physically for a while, and in some cases even for a long time. It bothers me ever to say that death is good. But perhaps in Alice's case, it was for the best. So, sorry about that. Now I'm going to take a few more minutes of your time because I think you'll enjoy these. As you see, I've scratched out were comments on cards that we received or people who spoke to me and so forth and so on. And I think it sums up her life very nicely. What a fantastic lady. Too, she was a wonderful person and will be missed by us all. I especially remember her company parties and poker games. That was a business acquaintance. She was an elegant and grand lady. She was very special. She was a great lady. She was a dear lady, and I am grateful to have known her. From a 13-year-old. We will all miss her. From a 9-year-old, I'm sorry Alice has passed on. She was at Show and Tell and the Bridge Group and very competent at both. I will always remember her as being such a lovely lady. She was such an outstanding lady, so lively and accomplished and always so very gracious. It was a joy to be her friend. She was a wonderful lady whom we all loved and respected. Alice and I were bridge and golf friends and had many good times together. I shall miss her. Alice was a classy lady. She was a good friend always. She will be missed. I will miss your great lady. She was so bright and so talented. Such a fine person. Alice was a very special lady and an extra special friend. Alice was a neat lady. She will be missed. Alice was such a wonderful person and a good friend. She touched many lives and will be missed. Your wife was a very dear lady. What a lovely lady Alice was. She will be missed by all. Just a few more. She was a lovely lady. I always enjoyed her company. I will always think of Alice with love and with the kindest thoughts. She was so nice to me. She was a classy lady again. She had a good life and is probably very peaceful now. So thank you for bearing with me, and I think daughter Judy will
Yeah.
come back.
After she composes herself, her father knows how to put her under.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to thank you all for being here and for being here for all the times of Mom's and Dad's life. There's a new phase, and stick around. You know, Jack will keep it interesting. But it's hard to think of them without thinking of both of them. And that's all I can say about that.
Yeah.
And
Get it.
This is the family with an every moment has been photographed in this family. We're just giving you a small smattering back here. What I wanted to say is that really I knew my parents in both of their lives, the Maine life and the Oregon life. And probably have greater connection in some ways to this place, both Oregon, the great Pacific Northwest, as Dad would say, and to their lives here. And I know how important you all were to Mom. And I know how important all the family and friends back in Maine were too. And Connie and Dad together were able to bring that all full circle. But you need to know how important you were to her. And you all had her friend. She really adored and loved all of you very, very much. And the parts that I remember about Mom are her competitive spirit and being a wicked good bridge player, and or hearing about that, and the Oswego Lake Country Club golf champ, and taking her flowers when she won that tournament, and things like that, and also her patience and her great way of being both a quiet and trustworthy friend. I think there was nothing you couldn't tell her that if you said, please don't tell anybody, you could trust Alice not to do that. And she had the real hallmark of grace and graciousness that she brought to all parts of her life and all parts of her relationships with people. She had a way of, I think, welcoming people into her home and her heart, and making them feel comfortable with themselves, not to meet her needs, but to really just be comfortable with who they were and the choices they made. And what more could you ask for? And this was a tough time at the end, but in terms of how things were going for her, but I think she made the most out of it. And I think you just sort of meet the times that are presented to you and make the most out of what's dealt. And I think she did that, and with many of your help and great friendship over all the years. So thank you very much for being here and for continuing to be here.
Sure.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Connie, and I just wanted to
Yeah, thank you.
fill you all in on what the last 2 months was like after she left here, and that she went home and she was with family and friends, people that she'd known her life, and it brought her life into a beautiful full circle. Her life with Dad, and her life as a mother and as a friend to the people there in Maine. She was with her brother and her sister, and just completed a piece of her life that hadn't quite had a closure on it. So we're all very happy with the way it worked out, that we were able to take her home. And so, although it's a time of sadness and emotion, it's really, for me, because I was with her so constantly, it's a moment of joy that she was home and that she got to die quickly and beautifully with dignity, and before this disease, really took its toll, because she really was present enough to enjoy the connection and the love that those people gave to her. And it was just a need to connect with her brother and sister and these people that got taken care of. And also my father, they walked down, the streets they walked down, the places they went, the people, the conversation, everything resonated with her being, because it was all so familiar. So it was, and they were in the boat there on their wedding anniversary. And I have pictures of them kissing in the Bowden Chapel on their wedding anniversary on June 1st. So, we just, just tied it up, and her life just came full circle in such a beautiful way. And so I just wanted to let you know that, and I also wanted to let you know that Dad said that you might like to know that her when she died, it was at dinner at the Highlands, and we were with Happy Aldred, a friend who had taken her mother through her dying days. It was a friend that Mother was so happy to see and be with from her younger days. And we were having dinner with her, and she had a cerebral hemorrhage at dinner. And so I just held her, I just stood up and held her, and I knew something was going on. And she was just sitting there with Happy, and I was standing there holding her, and the people were all eating dinner, and it was a formal sort of, place, retirement place, and the nurse came, and then the ambulance came and took her to the hospital, and her brother came to the hospital. Dad was in Oregon, and they gave her a CAT scan, and the doctor said it's the worst possible scenario. There's nothing that can be done. It'll be only a matter of hours. And I just said, thank you, it's the best possible scenario as far as I could tell. And so I called Dad, and I had all the family talk to her on the phone, because oftentimes when you have a cerebral hemorrhage, you can hear. You know, you don't look like you can, you look like you're unconscious, but you can hear. So I had all the family talk to her on the phone. And then we just went in a room, they put us in a private room, and I just took her through the process, and it was very beautiful. And she became very serene and beautiful upon leaving, going to happy hunting grounds. Her face just reflected it. It was just really a beautiful thing. So you can know that it happened in a lovely, peaceful, dignified, graceful way. And I also wanted to read to you a letter that my daughter wrote that we read at her service in Maine. I just thought bringing in the grandchild would be good today. So I'll share this letter with you. To Grammy Alice, I hope you have found a place where you can truly be happy and free, where you are so filled with joy that it is all you can do to keep yourself from bursting into song or frolicking through the fields of your imagination. You have left behind people who love you very much, and it is through the hearts and souls of these people that you will live on forever. I know that for me, every time I take a sip of wine, I think of your grace and beauty. This image fills me with hope that someday I may be able to glide across a room the way you do. Every time I put on a sweater, I think of my Grammy Alice sweaters, and how every stitch seemed to mold and fit perfectly to my body, and were made to fit every contour of me, no matter how much I grew. She made my children's sweaters all through their growing up. We called them Grammy Alice sweaters. The needlepoint stockings that were always hung in front of our fireplace when the holidays rolled around always seemed to be full of extraordinary gifts beyond even Santa's capabilities. The story of how you and Grandpa met and courted on horseback has always and will continue to remind me that there is romance outside of Hollywood, and that maybe I will be able to find a man to spend the rest of my life with. I want to thank you for all the time that we shared, for everything that you taught me, and all the love and support that you have given me. You gave me passion, you gave me courage, and you gave me grace, and for that I will be eternally grateful, and will always hold you in my heart. I believe in guardian angels, so anytime you feel like paying me a visit, or sending a little guidance my way, please consider this an open invitation. My brother and sister join me in telling you we hope you know how much you mean to us, and we wish you all the love and happiness in the world. Love always, Allie, for Concie and Johnny too. So my kids had just been out there too, out in Maine. My son and my daughter Allie, my daughter Concie hadn't been there. So they had just spent some nice time with her. And then, let's see, I think I might read you this piece that I spoke at the ceremony, just to sort of counterbalance Dad's sort of feelings around the disease. So if you just bear with me, are you guys all doing fine? Everybody's got a chair?
Great.
So, well, these people might need a chair. So, I'll just read this if you don't mind. As many of you know, Mother was experiencing the deteriorating effects of dementia. I want to speak to you of the gifts I felt this disease brought to our family. While many tend to look with sadness upon changes that come in the course of our lives, my orientation is to look at the beauty, to ascertain how the loving nature of things is working its magic upon our hearts and spirits. As what we consider to be the crucial aspects of our personality fell away with the loss of her memory, Mother moved into a state of being that was innocent, childlike, endearing, funny, and adventuresome. Without the trappings of the mind, she came into the present. Aspects of her personality came to the fore that had been hidden behind the armor that protects our hearts and allows us to fit into a way of life that we see as appropriate and good, but which perhaps does not serve us at deep levels. Instead of mourning the loss of what had been, her family, each in their own way, moved into new roles, new ways of being and thinking that would never have been considered without the impetus of a dramatic, life-threatening disease. Her condition demanded that we move out of a fast-paced life and become patient, loving nurturers, very present and very conscious each of her waking moments. We came home to Maine, where Mother's life came in full circle after being away for so many years. We spent time with the people who meant so much to her and to whom she meant so much. Our social calendar was full, visiting and being visited by friends and family. It meant so much to her to feel loved and connected. When she left the dining room at the Highlands, on the stretcher, she waved goodbye to Happy Aldred, one of her mother's best friends, who had seen my grandmother Connie through her last days, and who had eaten dinner with us that night, and whose presence had meaning for Mother we can only guess at. And so I honor the circumstances that gave me so much heart-centered quality time with my mother, and I am thankful for the way her life on earth ended. With the beauty and dignity that she embodied as a model of graciousness, service, and kindness. So, I want to thank you all for coming and sharing this time with us, and for all the love you've given my mother. And I'm sure her memory will go on with you, and that's how she will stay alive, through all our memories. Thank you for coming. And enjoy the food.
And
Oh,
Gabriel.
ready, here we go. Yes, we have. Do you want to say a couple of things with this? He said if Gabriel, because Gabriel really was really.
I think that, as Connie said, the secret really of immortality is when we can accept someone into our hearts, and what we gain from them, we are able to be enriched, and they are truly immortal as they live in each one of us. And I think that is really the responsibility of all of us, is to remember how we were enriched by Alice in our lives, and now that she's passed from our lives, that we can carry on her best qualities, and in that way that she will always be with us. And the song that we've chosen for this afternoon, I think embodies a lot of things that she would wish for all of us. And I'm going to sit down. I'll sit with you. Just stay right there. Yes.
Can I help you?
No. Just look real cute. Okay. Wait, you've got my notes. May God's blessings keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May you grow up to be courageous, stand upright and be true. May you always know the truth and the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous, may your hearts always be sung, and may you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young.
Should we have another?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have requests?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Now I'm going to have to think of one, because of course I was only prepared to sing that one song. Anyway, Are there any songs that anybody likes? Really? No. Everyone's like, no, no.
How about Hold Your Head Up High, you know that one?
I'm not prepared to do this with the guitar. As we discussed it a little bit, operatic.
Okay.
Okay.
Just pick one.
I'll just think of one. Well, Alice was a great Frank Sinatra lover, and we were going to play a medley of Frank Sinatra tunes after this. And I'm desperately thinking of something that would be appropriate. Me, who sings in the car all the time, to myself. Anyway. I tell you what, why don't you give me a chance to think of something, and let's go ahead and have an intervention,
Yeah.
Okay.
and we can come back if we want to. Okay. Well then, I think you should hit the food, because as Jack said,
If I have that shot, I'm gonna say that word. Because she knew I didn't swear, but I thought
Coming your way.
that. You know that when first came to Black
That's good.
came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar, was tearful when the sky was full of thunder, and fearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. 15 springs and 15 summers gone now. Cartwheels lost a car wheels through the time. And you tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, till you drag your feet to slow those circles down. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. And go round and round and round in the circle game. Blessing keep you always, may your wishes all come true. May you always do for others, and let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars, climb on every rung, and may you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. May you grow up to be righteous. May you grow up to be true. May you always know the truth and see the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous. May your song always be sung, and may you stay forever young, forever young, forever young. May you stay forever young. Long time passing, where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago, where have all the flowers gone? Gone to young girls everywhere. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing, where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago, where have all the young girls gone? Gone to young men everywhere. When will they ever learn? When will time passing, where have all the young men